The American government is letting the majority of its people down. It is doing so by promoting legislation which allows the military to detain citizens indefinitely without trial. I know that does not mean they will, but that gives them the right to be able to, and it would justify them in doing so, because they could just say they did so to prevent terrorism. Protesters are now considered to be low-level terrorists. All revolutionaries are considered terrorists to someone, whether they are thought of as good or bad later on down the line. For instance, George Washington and Benjamin Franklin were considered terrorists to the British. The Occupy Wall Street protesters are the #1 threat to capitalism. For those of you who don't know, America's economy is a capitalist one. The military, which is supposed to be fighting for our freedoms, is too worried about fulfilling the desires of its capitalist supreme commander that all changes every 4 years. What freedoms could we have that are being threatened by a country halfway around the world? None! And yet, our military is over there supposedly fighting for our freedom, while our freedoms in America are being taken away by the government. Unfortunately, only the richest people in our country have a say in what really happens in Washington, D.C. after the initial election of a president. They do so because it benefits them to. That is what a monopoly is. The government always finds some way of keeping citizens in line by saying how they got to vote and how in other countries that might not happen. That always seems to be what people in power tell us. Then they say, if you don't like it, you should leave. Now, people, keep in mind that most of the people who hear this rhetoric are people who can't afford to leave America. America got rid of a perfectly efficient and capable leader in Iraq when we overthrew Saddam Hussein. I'm not saying he was a nice guy to his people, because he wasn't. But I am saying that he knew how to rule his own people. Besides, what he did in his own country did not directly affect the American people. Who are we to say your government and way of life is wrong, almost as if we are religious missionaries? Maybe that's why the religious conservatives keep trying to force people to believe that America is, was, and forever will be a Christian nation. Our country is good at one thing: keeping its people occupied with lesser important issues, so people don't know what's really going on. They know that an educated America would be the death of the American government. To all those people who think I should run for president, make a law, and change things, I am not old enough or rich enough to run for president. I would if I could. The other lesser political positions are of no use trying to run for, because all they do is argue with one another. So until I'm old enough and rich enough to run for president, I guess I'm left to occupying Wall Street. I used to say in my videos that I was proud to be an American, but now I'm not so sure I am. The reason I am coming out and saying this about America is because I feel that somebody should stand up for the 99% of America's citizens